Hello everyone, my name is Jesse and welcome back to another Bakugan review. Today we're going to be taking a look at all the main bad guys from all of Bakugan. So from Season 1 up to Season 4, I'm not including Bakutech or anything like that, just the Americanized versions. So Battle Brawlers, New Vestroya, Gandalian Invaders, and Mectanium Surge. So we're going to be taking a look at all of those. A couple notes before I get started. I am not including any of the Mectogans from Mectanium Surge just because I don't like them and I'd rather stick to strictly Bakugan. Another thing is I'm not including any like side characters. I'm doing strictly what is looked at as the main characters. So you're not going to see any of the Vexos or any of the Gundalian Bakugan that were like kind of side characters. You actually saw them more than Dharak in some cases, but I'm not looking at those just because I don't have them and it would take way too long for me to collect them. So I'm strictly looking at the main bad guys. Also, I'm already hearing you guys in the comments, no, I am not including Darkest Reaper. I sold him a long time ago, I don't have one, and I also don't really, he is a Guardian Bakugan, but he was only in it for a couple episodes before Hydranoid just completely stole the show. So here is his honorary recognition now. This is what Darkest Reaper looks like. He was Masquerade's first Guardian Bakugan before Masquerade sacrificed him to the Doom Dimension. So with him out of the way, I hope that I don't hear any more comments, oh, but you didn't include Darkest Reaper, where is Reaper? There's his honorable mention. So I hope I can please you guys in some way at least. Another quick thing, guys, I do want to let you know that I do buy and sell Bakugan, so if you are interested, you can check out my eBay or Mercari links in the description, as well as if you have any business inquiries with me, feel free to email me using the email in the description below. So, without further ado, let's begin. For today's video, I thought it would be pretty unique to use the custom-made Doom card I have to open all the Bakugan. So, that's what we're going to be using. I know in the show it's an ability card, but I've made mine a gate card just for pretty much this purpose, so I can use it to pop open Bakugan. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so first up on our list is Hydranoid, the one everyone wants, the most evil Bakugan of them all, Hydranoid. So yeah, we're going to be taking a look at him first. So I'm sure you guys are pretty aware of Hydranoid and who he is. He is Masquerade's technically second Guardian Bakugan. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not using Reaper in this video. But yeah, so we have Hydranoid here. Single-headed. He comes at 500 Gs, which is pretty good for a, Season 1 Bakugan. And, yeah, just overall super clean design. I got this guy way back in the day for $161.50 or something like that. So, nowadays online, they're going for like $400 or $500, I believe. I honestly haven't looked in a while, but I know it's insane. And yeah, easily one of my favorite like evil Bakugan in the show. They never made a solid darkest color of him. He only came in the translucent in the Masquerade pack, which just adds to his rarity, I think. And yeah, just a Bakugan I really, really, really like. And he's definitely like #1 in my collection. So to close Hydranoid, you're going to want to shut all his manual parts. So all the horns in the back here. And then this little tail piece right there, and that goes in like that. I always flip him upside down for this one part because his feet like to get stuck right here. So make sure his feet are in good position before you end up closing them, or else you'll have a lot of problems. So always make sure the feet fold back. That goes in, the feet go in, and then I just kind of hold them together to push down his head. There we go. Up next on the list, we have Dual Hydranoid, so Hydranoid's evolution, and at this point he grows another head. So yeah, this is Dual Hydranoid, and this is the translucent version of him. So as part of the Masquerade pack here, he has 650 Gs, which is very, very strong. And then here is his like solid counterpart. This is a B2 that I custom painted the wheel onto, so it's not actually like heavy metal. But this one has 540 Gs, so a little bit of a comparison there, just based on the strength between the two there. So 650 to 540, so, a little bit different. But Really like dual Hydranoid. This is one of like the first Bakugan I remember having as a kid, and I don't know. I thought he was so cool because he's got two heads, and just how like you can move the heads up and down and stuff and manipulate how they look is really fun to me. And yeah, so definitely the most memorable of them, and I think it's just because he was like the first bad guy released. Really memorable one for me, just for that reason in particular. So to close dual Hydranoid, I flip him upside down so that his feet go in, and then I kind of just tuck the heads in, like that. Next is Alpha Hydranoid, the third evolution of Hydranoid. And this time, of course, he's got 3 heads. So let's pop out his manual part, so all his feet, and then the horn here, and pop him open. So yeah, really cool one here. We got him at 600 Gs. And this one's a little bit different from the one in the show. So as you can see, like on the picture on screen here, like the heads on this one are actually supposed to be where the hands are, but in the toy form they flipped them, so he's actually got a mouth up here, like 2 heads up here instead of down by the hands, which is really interesting. I don't know why they did that, but still super cool. And Alpha Hydranoid may not be my favorite of the Hydranoids, but he's really awesome. He's got like a cool like spinning like grinding wheel on him, which is really awesome. And then I also have his solid darkest heavy metal form at 670 Gs, so the darkest one here is actually stronger. But interestingly enough, I bought mine and he's missing a mouth, which the seller did not specify. I don't even know if the seller knew it was broken, but it is. And so yeah, mine's a little handicapped. But yeah, really cool. The heavy metal on this one's nice as well, just for rolling and playing with. But yeah, Alpha Hydranoid, super cool. One of my favorite ones, especially in fights. So to close Alpha Hydranoid, all you have to do is roll the feet in, obviously, and then push the horn back, and then I like to do its head, other heads, and then arms, and that locks them into place. Up next, we have the DS exclusive White Naga, so like the actual really bad villain of the first season, Bakugan Battle Brawlers. This is the White Naga, the DS exclusive. And yeah, so really cool. I'm a huge fan of how his mouth looks in this. Like, I think that is so sick. Yeah, too bad we didn't really get Silent Naga. We just got this version. I know people have made some online, but yeah, he's really cool. He's such a unique Bakugan. Again, no attribute, which is, you know, like the show. He didn't have an attribute, but he stole the Silent Core in order to get powerful and all that. He comes in at 650 Gs, so similar to both my dual Hydranoid and Alpha Hydranoid, so right up there in that power, which is, you know, pretty common. I really like the color scheme on him, so all of this white on blue is really nice. In the show, they did more purple, which I also kind of agree with and like better. But for a Bakugan that's more uncommon and you can only get in the DS exclusive like game pack, and the color scheme and stuff is quite worth it, I think. I also like the hands here. That silver is really nice. But to close him, you just shut his feet like this, and then he's like most Dragonoids, fold the wings in first, and then lock his head back into place. And there you go. Up next on our list, we have probably my favorite of all the bad guys, Viper Helios. This is specifically like the Hex Viper Helios, the special anime colored one. Absolutely love this Bakugan. Just pop his manual parts out before I get talking about him. So his feet come out, and then his horn pops out, and then boom. Yeah, so I just love the spread. Like, he pops out, and he's huge, which is really cool. He's at 480 Gs there, which is, you know, kind of weaker than even Hydranoid, so it's kind of interesting on how they did that. But a lot of, like, New Vestroia stuff kind of reset in terms of G power instead of going up. But yeah, I just love how, like, big and large he looks. The wings here are really cool and just make him easily one of my favorites in terms of color scheme and everything. This is actually the only like bad Bakugan that's Pyrus. I mean, the only like evolution line. Pretty much every other bad Bakugan is in Darkest, which is pretty interesting that they make Helios, you know, so evil as a Pyrus Bakugan. But I liked it. It worked with the show and all that, so it was pretty cool. One cool thing about Viper is that if you lower his horn some, you can actually move his mouth out, which pretty cool if you want to make him look a little bit more intimidating, have his mouth out like that. I think that's super cool. He is actually kind of complicated to close, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Sometimes it takes me a couple tries, but go ahead and put his feet in and then lock his horn into place. And then what I like to do is fold the wings. So take your wings and fold them in with your thumbs. And then I like to just lock them in like that so that they're stuck. And then his head goes in, and then his tail kind of clips in under his head to get him locked into place. And that is Viper Helios. Up next, we have Cyborg Helios, which I have mine custom painted, if you couldn't tell. But this is a Pyrus custom painted Cyborg Helios. You'll see him as like a Maxis Helios set. I had that at one point, but I didn't like it, so I got rid of it. I actually sold it. But you'll see that as part of like the thing too with like the Maxis set. But Cyborg Helios opens, you pop his 2 feet out, and then his horn, and then he's also got a little tail right here, and then a place for like battle gear or any kind of traps or whatever. Mine has trouble opening, but it's not because of like the paint or anything. It's just he's always had trouble opening, and I think a lot of Cyborg Helioses have a lot of trouble opening. So we're just gonna kind of help him out here by popping his wings out. There we go. So he's starting to come out. Yeah, there we go. So this is my custom painted Cyborg Helios. As you can see, I put a lot of time and love into getting him how he is. But this is just essentially the next evolution of Helios. He starts getting more mechanical parts and becoming more robotic than what Viper Helios was in order to get stronger in the show. He's at 680 Gs right there, so getting a lot stronger, which is nice. I like to see evolutions get stronger instead of weaker. That's Cyborg Helios, and he's pretty easy to close as well. You just shut all his manual parts, so horn, feet, and tail, and then his head kind of goes in, and then his wings lock his head into place so he doesn't pop out again. Up next is a huge fan favorite. This is Helios Mark II, so the actual anime accurate version as well, the black version. There are multiple versions of this guy, including Battle Gear compatible ones. So Helios is Battle Gear. He has 2 of them, so the Twin Destructor and the Zucanator. This is not a Battle Gear compatible one, so I don't have the Battle Gear for him. But he's still really cool and pretty easy to like open and stuff. You just pop his feet out, then his horn, and he's also got these movable like jet booster things on his wings. And he sits at 540 Gs right there. And just really, really sick Bakugan. He's a Japanese exclusive. You can only get him in Japan. They never made him in America. So that this adds to his rarity. I think nowadays these guys go for like $200, maybe more. I got mine for $90. And I actually found him almost immediately. I said I was looking for one, and some dude offered me one within like the hour. So yeah, getting him for $90 and almost instantaneously is really nice. So super proud of that and super happy with it. And just he looks so nice. Oh, and he's got his core right there. Really, really sick. And yeah, I see why he's a fan favorite of everyone. Just an awesome Bakugan. And like I say, there's many variations. You've got like instead of the black body, you've got the gray one. Then you've got the one that's got like the green horn, and he's Battle Gear compatible and lays down. You've got like the crystal ones. You've got all these different attributes. So, he's really nice in terms of like, how many you can get and what you can get. And he's a big one for collectors. The only difference is in the show, he's actually got hands that come out right here. The toy never did that, which is kind of weird and disappointing. But yeah, overall, just really cool Bakugan, and definitely a fan favorite. To shut Helios here, all we have to do is fold in his feet and his horn, and then make sure his jet booster things and his wings are up, like so. And then what I like to do is sort of like clasp everything together, because there's these little hooks on his wings here that kind of make it a little hard. So you want to make sure that you get them all together so you're not accidentally breaking anything. And so I kind of just mush it all together and then make sure he clicks. And that's how you put Helios back together. Up next, we're moving on to Season 3 with Dharak, Darkest Dharak. And he's got a couple manual parts, so his feet come out like this. He's got 4 feet. Yep, here we go. And then I'll go ahead and pop him down. So there's Dharak. And yeah, he comes at 600 Gs there. You know, in terms of like the bad guy for the 3rd season, I felt like he didn't get a whole lot of recognition because he was shrouded over and crowded by all these other bad guys. And as he's like the main antagonist, he kind of didn't get as much time as I felt maybe he needed, because it was spent highlighting all these other guys. And I guess that's a sales tactic, but as being the main bad guy, you know, I wish kind of he got more screen time. But Dharak here has a battle gear compatibility mode, so put down his wings and his tail, and then you can take his battle gear, which is air core. I have the gold one here, which is also show accurate, and you can pop that down. And that definitely makes him look better, in my opinion. I think a lot of the Gundalian Invaders Bakugan need the battle gear to actually look like Bakugan, like good, powerful Bakugan, because without it, he kind of just looks, literally, he looks flat. But with this on there, he looks a whole lot better. So yeah, air core is at 50 Gs because it's the gold one. So pretty good for battle gear. I think it's also just, you know, in general, this looks, the gold looks the best. The silver is also pretty cool, but nothing beats the gold. Curiously enough, since we've gone back to Darkest Bakugan, they change from being like purple, like black and purple, like black, purple, and red, or black, purple, and yellow, to black, green, and yellow, which is a huge difference. Which is one that I kind of like because it goes along with like DNA and kind of like some of Dharak's history or whatever. So as we'll get into it, you know, the transfer of DNA evolves Dharak into Phantom Dharak, but I think I don't know, I like it. Plus, like DNA, you've got the DNA codes, which are down here and stuff. It kind of works, you know. Dharak's also really easy to close. You'll just pop all of his wings back up into form. Shut his manual parts, which are his feet right here. And then his head and his tail just kind of roll in together, like so. Make sure that clicks in, and then his wings pop up like that. Air core, on the other hand, is a pain in the butt, so I always end up closing this little like horn piece first, and then folding the wing pieces in and pushing them in like so. Really complicated, and it took me a while. I almost never get it right the first time. Pop that in, and then lower this piece to lock them into place. But see, it still just likes to come out, but close enough. Come on, get in there. Up next on our list is Dharak's evolution, Phantom Dharak, who evolved from using Drago's DNA, Blitz Dragonoid's DNA, to become stronger. And Emperor Baronius actually renamed Dharak. He's like, you're now Phantom Dharak, which is kind of cool. Because, you know, we've always like seen Bakugan evolve and like their name comes from their evolution. Like Dan never got to choose Drago's name, but Emperor Baronius did. So that's pretty cool, especially considering Dharak is like the other side of the coin to the Dragonoid. So I don't know, it's really weird. But same color scheme here. I do like this little like vent style that's on Phantom Dharak. Let's go ahead and pop him open. So he kind of looks like a Wormquake or a Centipoid, which is a bit strange. And he comes in at 820 Gs. Not sure why they'd make him look like this, but yeah, that's how he looks. No, I'm kidding. He has a button on the top because he's a Baku double strike, so you'll pop that down. And yeah, that actually gives him like his full form, which actually has 100 extra Gs. So you add that on. And yeah, I like the design of this one. He's much like larger, which is pretty nice. But Dharak is actually the only Bakugan who doesn't have like a set battle gear. So I've actually been putting air core on him, and I think it looks way better than it did even on Dharak. Like I think it looks even better on Phantom Dharak, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, I don't know, I really like it. Yeah, he's kind of chunky. In the show, though, I really liked how he looked. Like, there's a specific scene in, like, the second to last episode. I'll try and pull up a screenshot. Like, I remember watching that and being like, yeah, Phantom Dharak is really cool. So his ball form may not be that great, but his like show form I really like. So to close him, he folds up his head like this, and then the tail and the back folds up as well. And then his wings kind of just, it's actually not too bad. They just fold right in and they click. So it's pretty easy to actually get him into ball form, which I really appreciate. Alright, last on our list is Razenoid from the first arc of Mectanium Surge. If you remember in the intro, I'm not doing the second arc with like the Mectagans, like Koradagon or whatever his name is. I'm not doing that just because I'd rather stick to Bakugan and not the Mectagans. So Razenoid, I've made a video on as well. He's really awesome. I love Razenoid. So we've upgraded from color now, so we just got black and silver, which I think looks amazing. My Razenoid's also die-cast, so he's actually got some metal on him, which is really nice. Let's go ahead and pop him open. He's got a G-Power wheel here. So yeah, Razenoid is, of course, the mutated version of Phantom Dharak. So you learn in Mectanium Surge there's some lore, but essentially he gets mutated, and he becomes Razenoid, which is really cool, and just a kind of like unique piece to the continuing storyline of like Dragonoid versus Dharaknoid. And I don't know, Razenoid in my opinion is just a sick looking toy. He's big, he's scary looking. I love the mouthpiece on here. It's just awesome. And the only manual parts he's got are really like just these little corners on his wings, and then his mouth pops open. But even the legs themselves are already displayed. He's got a G-Power spin wheel here, which I've gone a more in-depth review, like his own personal review. So if you want to check that out, I'll put a little icon in the corner for you to check out. But yeah, I love the color scheme. I like how you can manipulate his arms and stuff. It's really cool. And even in the show, he looks like a bad guy, which I appreciate. Like, I think some of these Bakugan, like, they kind of look bad, but then you're not so sure. Like, especially like some of the main villain side characters, they just don't always look that bad. But like Razenoid, he does, which is really nice. And yeah, definitely like a great like final villain technically. I'm not really counting Wiseman's like Mectagans and stuff. I'm not really a fan of them. But yeah, just Razenoid, really cool. And to close him, first we're gonna shut his mouth, of course, and then his wings. So let's go ahead and get those shut. So we're gonna close little corners on his wings, and then I like to kind of keep his feet closed, fold his mouth in, and then lock everything down, and then dip his hands underneath because his feet will pop out. Dip his hands underneath and then seal it by shutting his wings. And boom, that's how you get Razenoid shut. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Who is your favorite Bakugan? Who's your favorite villain Bakugan that I've just showcased here? Who do you think's the coolest? Who do you think's the strongest? That's actually a pretty interesting question. So let me know in the comments below, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. My name is Jesse. Peace out.